XRP is at a critical support and has been for the last 10 days. And it must hold this support indicated by this red box right here. Otherwise, we could have a major breakdown. Now, a breakdown below 50 cents would at least take us down to 43 cents or even 40 cents for at least a 23% loss. So imagine you toss $100 into XRP and now you are out to $77 to $76. This is a loss that nobody wants to take. However, the same is true to the upside, and in between, we may be in for some major volatility, which will lead 95% of investors to lose everything before the major price advance comes. And a few key indicators are giving us a signal that could lead to a price advance of epic proportions. So in this video, we'll be revealing what these indicators are and the prices you should keep a close eye on in the case of a breakout or a breakdown. We'll be covering the most common mistakes most investors will make that will cause them to lose on XRP. And that's to the tune of at least 95% of people. We'll be covering what the CTO or Chief Technology Officer of Ripple, David Schwartz, just shared that is going to allow for major institutional players to use underlying Ripple technology in a growing $16 trillion boon, and how that will account for 10% of the global GDP. We'll be covering how Google Trends is giving us an insight into the explosion that's likely to happen in the near future, and how emerging market stocks are seeing consistent inflows and arguably the most in histories, which is a telling sign of what's to come. So if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777, and if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul, and we are going to start this video with a video of David Schwartz sharing some of the key technologies they've built that are going to allow for asset tokenization into the trillions of dollars, and when he believes this is going to start to occur on the XRPL. Now, this is massive because this is going to create for an environment where there's loads of money flowing into the XRPL, and as long as it's efficient and working very well, more and more money will flow into the XRP token by default, as the XRP token is what runs the entire environment to begin with. So that said, let's listen to this video, and then we're going to cover a few pieces of information surrounding the future growth and how that's going to happen.
I'm hoping that we're going to see, as real world asset tokenization projects grow, I think the XRP ledger is going to be a really good platform for them to launch on, particularly because of the low fees and because of the integration with the DEX, with the proximity to sort of the movement of funds. The ability, if someone's going to buy, what do you want to do with a real world tokenized asset? You want to buy it, you want to sell it, you want to hold it, you want to transfer it. And if you want to buy it and sell it, you want to be able to do that with whatever asset is convenient for you. You don't want to tie, if you tokenize some sort of debt, like you don't want to tie it to US dollars, because then that limits access to it to people who have sort of proximity to US dollars. One of the things the XRP ledger is good for is giving you sort of proximity to many different assets, and that exchange is seamlessly built in. So I think that's going to make, that's one of the many reasons why the XRP ledger is going to be a good place to launch tokenized real world assets. I think we'll see that in the next year, year and a half.
And aside from stablecoins, one of the other major and most important utilities for crypto assets is going to be asset tokenization into the future. This is an article directly from McKinsey, which is one of the largest, most well-known consulting firms in the world. And this is what they share in here. Larry Fink, chairman and CEO of BlackRock, which, you know, this is no new news to us if you're in the Ripple community, said in January of 2024, we believe the next step going forward will be tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will be on one general ledger. More and more institutions are rolling out and scaling tokenized products from tokenized bonds and funds to private equity and cash. And notice the key phrase here, will be on one general ledger. Well, many people believe that's going to be the XRPL. And this is a major opportunity for players like Ripple to build the infrastructure that allows for this asset tokenization at scale, considering asset tokenization is projected to grow 50 times into the US $16 trillion of an opportunity by 2030. 30. And this is reported across the board from many firms. And so with all of this really bullish news surrounding Ripple and XRP, it's hard to see why Ripple has maintained this range for a period of 66 days and has seen a support of about 50 cents. Now, although asset tokenization is one major use case and could potentially be the catalyst that really propels XRP to the moon, it's important to note that the entire crypto market as a whole has seen general market weakness. However, I do believe things are really starting to turn around. And in this post on X, someone shared that the next target is $150,000 on Bitcoin, and this will create for a positive environment for many altcoins to surge as well. XRP is likely going to follow. As you can see here, this was the previous 2020 reversal pattern where we did have that major spike of volatility, and this is what we're going to talk about here shortly, right here during COVID, where the market really crashed and created this widening support and resistance pattern that was trending down. Then when the market started to correct and hit this range right here and broke out, it really broke out and then went to a new all-time high. Well, in similar fashion, we're seeing something happen right here with Bitcoin. And so as long as we get back up to this resistance line, then it's likely we're going to break out to new all-time highs. Now, it's not going to look exactly the same. We might see some different, moves in terms of volatility, but generally speaking, a break above this line would be massive for the entire crypto market. So here I have the price action or the chart on Bitcoin. Again, very similar look to 2020 before the major breakout to new all-time highs. And as you can see here, he's pointing out that this was the major range of volatility, or the volatility move happened August 4th, August 5th. That was the collapse of Japan basically in terms of their market, and that affected the US markets as well. Well, now he says we're starting to paint a new picture where we're going to continue trending up, hit the top of this downtrend line, if you will. And then once we break out, we're supported here and we start to see some rallying up to, $150,000+. Now that is a very likely scenario. However, it's also really important to note that we might actually see some more volatility first. And this is where 95% of people are going to lose their asses, because it's also equally possible that we could start to continue trending up but fail to break above this line, then see some sort of a volatility event, a black swan event. Something could happen. The market crashes and corrects. People just give up, capitulate. Maybe they were in a bit of levered position, and so now they actually get liquidated. As the price goes down to $43,000, XRP would likely be following and dropping as well. XRP could easily see a price of 43 cents, 38 cents, or even potentially 30 cents. And most people at that point in time would sell. But that's exactly when you should be buying, considering I would think that the market would really start to rally and turn around there and then reach that previous resistance, breakout, go to new all-time highs. So I don't want most people to think that this is the exact thing that's going to happen. But if it did, I do believe most people would lose. They would capitulate, when in reality, they should be accumulating. And at the end of the day, XRP is already in a very healthy range for accumulation. And I think this gentleman shares that pretty well, considering that Google Trends search term Bitcoin just hit a 4-year low. And guess what happens next? He shows you basically the chart of Bitcoin before it rallied to its all-time high again sometime in October of 2020, before it really rallied into a new all-time high later in the next year. That said, you can see that Google search and the trends continued rising to all-time highs. Then over this period of time, it would have been good to accumulate at the lows when people are searching Bitcoin less. Well, in similar fashion, we did rally pretty hard here, but nowhere near the 2020 to 2021 highs in terms of Google search trends back in March of 2020, when the price broke out to a new all-time high. Since that point in time, even though we were really failing to break to new lows, this still is an uptrend right here. As you can see, the Google search trend is back to lows from October of 2020. So this is a really interesting pattern. Now you're like, what does that matter for XRP? Well, I went ahead and pulled up the chart, and in similar fashions, you can see that XRP would have been good to accumulate at its major lows, indicated by this red line. So let me go ahead and increase the size of that. And then you can see here, when things start to really rally, not only does Bitcoin rally, but so does XRP search volume. And it goes from like a 2 to a 4. Now I'm comparing Bitcoin to XRP, which is why XRP looks really low. If it was on its own chart, then it'd look different. You'd have different numbers. But the point I'm trying to to make is whenever it's lows at like 2 and then it starts to rally up to 5 or 6, that's typically a good time to maybe take profit if you're a day trader. But if you're a long-term holder, I think these are great times to accumulate. And as you can see here, XRP and Bitcoin back down to 12 and 2. They are major lows right now, and this is a great time to invest into a major October through December rally. And so based on that Bitcoin analysis and then XRP's relative strength to Bitcoin, I think a lot of people might have this wrong. Now, relative strength basically means that if you were to compare the charts of Bitcoin and XRP side by side or together or overlay them on the same chart, XRP is actually performing better than Bitcoin. Then when the relative strength is down, it would mean that XRP is underperforming Bitcoin. So it would be better to basically bounce between the two assets when one is stronger versus the other. Well, this purple line right here would indicate the exact amount of relative strength that both share. So whenever it touches this line, that means they're trading exactly the same. If Bitcoin's up 1%, so is XRP. And then in similar fashion, if you're below this line, this would mean XRP is consistently underperforming Bitcoin. On the upside, right in this green area, this is when XRP is outperforming Bitcoin. So basically since July 11th of this year, right, XRP has been outperforming Bitcoin. Then they became positively correlated, if you will, and they performed exactly the same for a short period of time. But it seems XRP is just about to break out and rally. And so that's the very first indicator I want to show you. While Bitcoin might actually continue to break down, let's say Bitcoin sees that major volatility event that we're talking about. I think this is what would scare a lot of folks. It also could mean that XRP might just go like this. It might break down, but it might not break down as hard as Bitcoin. Bitcoin breaks to $43,000. That's huge. XRP might only break down to 40 cents, 42, 43 cents, or maybe even higher, then break and rally like this. Okay, so it's important to pay attention to relative strength. So again, that's the very first indicator I wanted to show you. Right now, we're starting to break out above this purple line. And so that's a good indicator that right now might be a good time to buy XRP. But it's also really important to note that if XRP sees a volatility event like this, this is an amazing time to accumulate. It's not the time to sell. And I think that would be indicated by the stochastic RSI on a daily time frame. From the daily time frame, you can see right here that we are well into this 0.56 range at one point in time on October 3rd and 4th and 5th. Then we started to rally, and now we're starting to put in a new trend where the blue line, right, which is the fast moving average, crosses over the orange line, which is the slow moving average. And I'll go ahead here and remove that. And now we're starting to move back into a healthy range. Whenever we're down in these ranges, I'll go ahead and put a line right around here into this range right here. I'll put a line right down here. And I would argue these ranges right here are pretty good for accumulation. In similar fashion, right through here and here, we got, a bullish convergence. Really, it's when the lines start to meet at the end. I know people always say divergence for everything, but it's just not proper grammar. So I call it convergence. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But in these ranges right here would have been a great time to accumulate for when the stochastic RSI crossed back over into a healthy range and then went to highs. And so you can see right here and even back here, the same thing's going to happen. So look at this. Look how beautiful. Accumulate in this range, pumped and rallied to 60 some cents. Accumulate into this range. What might happen as we see relative strength growing up? Guess what? Bam, breakout. Now, I'm not saying that we won't get a breakout. It's also equally possible and potential that we start to rally from here. However, if this happened, people would lose money. And on the flip side, if for whatever reason we broke and rallied right to here and then started breaking back down, this is the next major mistake people make. A lot of people, because they bought in this range of 58 cents to 66 cents, what happens is they are currently in a loss. And because they're not good investors with good risk management, what happened is they've been in a loss, holding this loss. And then when the price gets back up to 58 cents, maybe 57 cents, they're like, okay, I can finally get out because I'm at a break even. How often do we see that when in reality, they should have been accumulating here? However, if you already accumulated in this range up here and the price is here, I would highly recommend you wait. And I would argue if we see volatility to the downside like this, you should be accumulating because this might actually be the major low that comes in before the October through December bull run and rally. Now for the third and final indicator that I want to share with you and why I believe we're at least breaking out to like 57 cents and arguably to new all-time highs by the end of the year, but we're just talking for a very short period of time from maybe today through the rest of the week, is this tool right here called a fixed range volume profile. And what this is giving me a volume profile of all of the volume traded in a specific range. So I'm going to go back here to this right here where we really started to range between here and here. And as you can see here, what's super interesting about what this the picture that this paints is the fact that the majority of volume has traded at about 53 cents. So the price has rallied above it, it's rallied below it. We have virtually no volume traded down here for this entire range, which tells me one thing. If we break out above 53 cents one more time, it's highly likely we're going to easily break above this 54 cent range, which brings us to our next major range of volume support in terms of volume support and resistance. So when you scroll back, you can see that we have a lot of support and resistance right here at about 56 to 57 cents, right? We were supported here and here. When we broke below this range, you can see that we were slammed down here and here. And in similar fashion, breakout above, yes, with some volatility. And this is the type of volatility that I'm talking about that really wrecks a lot of investors. So I don't want you to fall into the trap of just getting out and capitulating or taking a break-even profit, if you will, because at the end of the day, volatility events like this happen, and this is where most investors are going to lose their asses. You can see support, resistance, support yet again. So 56 and 57 cents is what I'm eyeballing as a target this week. And if you were to take just a day trade on that, and this is not financial advice, right? At the end of the day, you can lose money, but with a bit of leverage, that's an easy 7% gain and probably more if you're on leverage. That said, I'm pretty freaking bullish through the end of the year, whether volatility happens or not. I believe volatility is going to be a great opportunity if we see some downside for buying and stacking up, load up as much as you can, because things are looking really hot in the markets. And I've looked at so many indicators. I've shared so much information with the community on why we believe this is going to happen. So watch some of those other videos, but even emerging market stocks, which are typically considered more risky, which tells me asset managers are taking on boatloads of risk because they are very bullish. That's bullish for the entire market. It's bullish for crypto. They just saw a weekly inflow of more than $40 billion, and this is the most in history. And this chart alone dates back to 2016. We've never even seen that in 2020 to 2021. So something is going on, and I think that the bull market is really going to come closer to the end of October. So any time to accumulate right now is probably the best time, which leads me to bullrunners.com/cryptoland. If you are an XRP investor, an XRP holder, you plan to hold through the upcoming end of the year, start of the next year, then you should go to bullrunners.com/cryptoland to discover how to earn crypto in less than 10 minutes with the #1 play to earn XRP game. Not only does this reduce your volatility because you're earning crypto on top of your XRP, but it allows you to put your XRP to work in a way where now you can compound and stack onto those XRP bags. We have people in the community earning between 1,000 to 2,000 XRP per day. I'm not saying that's going to be you unless you really go balls to the walls, if you will, but you can earn a bit on top of that. So it's a beautiful way for people to really take advantage of the XRP that they're already holding and put it to work. You do it in 3 steps. You get an XRP wallet, you get your game pieces, you play the game to earn crypto, and the crypto is directly convertible for XRP. Now, here's the reality. Some of you might feel a little intimidated. Some of you might be confused. That's why I recommend you watch this 8-minute video so you kind of understand what's happening, what's going on. Once you do, you can watch through each of these videos. I recommend you do it before you make a decision, because this is going to help you to understand exactly what's happening. And so we want to be completely transparent. We don't want you to feel confused or overwhelmed. Watch these videos. Once you feel comfortable, then go ahead and get into it. Put that XRP to work. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure that you subscribe, like the video. It helps us out. And then go to the description below, click this link in the description or in the pinned comment. Make sure it's the pinned comment directly from Bull Runners, the YouTube channel. Look forward to seeing you in the next video, my friend. Goodbye.